Elena had always been the kind of woman who gave everything to the people she loved. She was gentle, hard-working, and deeply devoted to her husband Marcus and his family. She had married Marcus 7 years ago, with nothing but love in her heart and hope in her eyes. She cooked, cleaned, managed the household, and worked a modest job at a local bakery to contribute to their finances. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please stay with us and watch this story till the end. If there is any mistake or shortcoming in our story, please kindly forgive us and support us with your love, patience, and encouragement. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories, and tell us in the comments where in the world you are watching from. Your support means everything to us. Marcus worked in real estate, but his income was unpredictable, and for years the couple struggled to keep their heads above water. Through all of it, Elena never complained. She smiled through the hard times and reminded herself that love was supposed to be enough. What she did not know was that behind her warm and trusting smile, the people she loved most were weaving a web of betrayal so deep it would shake her to the very core. Marcus had been seeing another woman, Vanessa, for nearly 2 years. Vanessa was bold, calculating, and consumed by greed. She had convinced Marcus that Elena was holding him back, that he deserved more, that together they could build something extraordinary. If only Elena were out of the picture. Marcus, weak and easily manipulated, had started listening. His mother, Margaret, who had never truly accepted Elena as worthy of her son, had quietly been feeding this fire. She whispered into Marcus's ear every chance she got, reminding him that Elena came from nothing and that she would always be nothing. The three of them had begun making plans to push Elena out of the marriage, seize whatever little assets the couple had, and start a new chapter together without her. They had even consulted a lawyer about how to make the divorce swift and financially devastating for Elena. They were certain she had no money, no powerful connections, and no one to fight for her. They were dangerously wrong. 3 weeks before their plan was set in motion, Elena received a phone call that changed everything. Her great-aunt Rosalind, a reclusive but extraordinarily wealthy businesswoman who had spent decades building an empire in international trade, had passed away peacefully in her sleep. Elena had only met Rosalind a handful of times in her life, but the old woman had always watched her from a quiet distance with gentle, knowing eyes. In her will, Rosalind left her entire estate to Elena, the only person in the family she believed possessed true character and grace. The inheritance totaled just over $1 billion, including properties across 4 countries, shares in 3 major corporations, and a private estate in the Swiss countryside. Elena sat alone in her kitchen, reading the letter from the attorneys, and could not stop shaking. She told no one. Not Marcus, not his mother, not a single soul. Something deep inside her told her to be still and to watch. Within days of receiving the news, Marcus came home distant and cold. He picked unnecessary arguments and began staying out late. Margaret stopped visiting entirely, which was unusual even by her standards. Elena played the role of the unsuspecting wife perfectly. She watched as Marcus grew more careless, leaving messages on his phone visible, smelling of a perfume she had never owned. One evening, she quietly drove past the restaurant. Marcus claimed he was having a business dinner at and saw him sitting across from Vanessa, their hands intertwined on the table. She did not cry. She drove home, made herself a cup of tea, and called the attorney who had handled her inheritance. The next morning, Elena had a team of the city's most respected lawyers assembled in a private office downtown. She transferred all inherited assets into a personal trust under her name alone and filed for divorce before Marcus even woke up that morning. The papers arrived at their home by courier. While Marcus was still in his bathrobe, eating breakfast, he turned white as a sheet. He called Elena's phone repeatedly, but she had already left, the house with a small bag and her dignity fully intact. When news of the inheritance broke, as it inevitably did, the silence from Marcus, Vanessa, and Margaret was thunderous. Marcus tried to contest the divorce proceedings and claimed entitlement to a share of the inheritance, but the legal structure Elena had put in place was airtight. The courts ruled entirely in her favor. Vanessa disappeared from Marcus's life. Almost immediately, once she learned that there was no fortune to access, Margaret, who had spent years treating Elena like a burden, reached out with tearful apologies that Elena received and politely set aside. Elena bought a beautiful home overlooking the sea, funded a scholarship program in her great-aunt Rosalind's name, and built the peaceful, purposeful life she had always deserved. She never looked back in anger, only forward in gratitude. Some people mistake kindness for weakness. Elena's story is proof that the truest strength often wears the quietest face. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Kindness True. Stories for more powerful and emotional stories that touch the heart and inspire the soul. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring these stories to people who need them most. Thank you for watching and being part of our beautiful community.